Welcome to video number 2 in this 4-part series on why you are stressed about money and how to fix it. The first video, just to give you a little bit of a refresher, was about acknowledging our baggage. So we think of money as something or someone that we're in a relationship with. In order to move forward in that relationship, we want to acknowledge the baggage that we've been carrying with us. And that's really just looking at our history, looking at the experiences that have happened and what we've learned from them and what we've held on to and how that's shaped us to this day. If you missed that video, just go back and watch it really quickly. And today we're going to build on that and talk about forgiveness. Why is that important? When we are in a place of needing to forgive, it means that we're holding on to some sort of resentment or grudge or something that happened to us long ago. And a part of us is stuck in the past. So no matter how hard we try to move forward, we're still stuck. It's like we've got one leg out the door and the other leg reaching all the way back up into our attic. Imagine how that would feel in your legs. That's what it's like when we need to forgive. It's also a really disempowering place to be. It's a place of judgment and criticism, and that doesn't feel really good. So that's why we want to look at forgiveness here. The first step is to understand who or what you need to forgive. So when you looked back at that history with money and your relationship with money, who were the major players? You, of course, are one of them. Was there a partner, a family member, a coworker, or a boss? Who were the major players that you might be holding on to some resentment toward? Was there a partner who left you? Maybe you had a divorce or some separation that left you in a bad financial position. Maybe it was someone who let you go at work, or your position wasn't necessary anymore, or you were competing with someone for a promotion and you didn't get it. Anything like that comes up. And a lot of times with forgiveness, there's us, ourselves, that we often need to forgive for anything that we may have done, any chances we didn't take, things we did that we wish we did differently, whatever that may be. So you first just want to acknowledge who you need to forgive. The second part of this is to understand how that person makes you feel when you recall that situation that's triggering you. Let those feelings come up and just sit with them for a few minutes. The reason we're still holding on to that grudge is because we haven't really processed it. We've probably just been pushing it down. We know it's there and we're just like, and we let it drive us crazy. But let's just sit with it and notice the feelings and feel them, because it's perfectly safe to do that. Once we've been with those feelings, you may notice that they kind of rise up and they pass and they release. And once you're in that place, you can begin to look at that person through the lens of compassion. So if we imagine that we're wearing these lenses of judgment and criticism initially, we take those off and we trade them in for a different pair. This is my same pair. I don't have two. But lenses of compassion. And we look back at that person and that event or that situation that took place. Can we see how they were acting in the best way that they knew how? That they had a good intention. And maybe it didn't come out that well. Maybe it didn't play out that well. But they were doing the best that they knew how at that time. The lenses of compassion allow us to see it that way. And when you do that, you may notice that those hard feelings you were holding inside begin to soften. And when we're in that place, now we're ready to forgive, and we can express our forgiveness. That doesn't mean you need to call this person up and say, hey, I forgive you for this. That's often not always the best thing to do, depending on the situation. Sometimes people become estranged and we don't need to bring them back into it. We just need to deal with it inside because we're the ones who are affected. So you may want to just write a letter that you never send them. Or you may want to look in the mirror. Especially if it's you, you may want to look in the mirror and say, I forgive you for this. We can express our forgiveness in that way. And then lastly, we want to express love and appreciation. So think about that person, again, whether it's you or someone else, and just imagine yourself sending some love and kindness to them, just feeling that inside of you. You don't really have to do anything, just maybe close your eyes and put your hands on your heart and picture them and just feel that love. And now, after going through that process, you will have transformed that judgment and that criticism and that resentment into love, acceptance, and compassion. This was video 2 in our 4-part series on why we're stressed about money and how to fix it. Stay tuned next week, Wednesday, for video number 3. And drop me a comment below, let me know your thoughts, and if you go through this process, I'd love to hear how that transformation feels for you, or if you're just looking forward to doing it, I'd love to hear it so I can support you in any way that I can.